Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a pretty fast-moving situation in the tech world today it's directly hitting how a lot of us actually work and create. Okay, let's dive into this. We are looking at an urgent report just out from 9 to 5 Mac to date, July 23rd, 2026. The headline? A sudden, super frustrating disruption for software developers, writers, and honestly, tech enthusiasts everywhere. Right now, as we speak, both ChatGPT and Codex, OpenAI's massive code generation model, are dealing with a partial outage. So, if you've been banging your head against the keyboard trying to get some code to compile, or if you completely rely on ChatGPT to, say, brainstorm or draft your afternoon emails and it's just not cooperating, yeah, you are definitely not alone. 9 to 5 Mac is keeping a really close watch on this whole thing, and we've put together this explainer to break down exactly what's going on, what OpenAI is actually doing to fix it, and where the situation stands, literally right at this very moment.
So, what is the actual on-the-ground reality of the problem? Well, OpenAI's official system status page just confirmed the issue, and they're using this very specific, classic corporate phrase, elevated error rates. Right. What this actually means in practical, everyday terms is that we aren't looking at a total global blackout. The site isn't just completely dead for everyone. Instead, it's a partial outage. Basically, when you hit submit on your prompt, there is just a significantly higher chance than normal that the system is going to totally fail to process it, spitting back an error message instead of, the actual result you need. OpenAI explicitly states they are currently investigating the issue for these listed services. So, if your prompts are endlessly hanging or flat-out failing today, this elevated error rate is exactly the culprit.
Now, the duration of an outage like this, that is always the absolutely crucial factor. 4 hours. Think about that. This partial outage has been ongoing for 4 solid hours. In the ridiculously fast-paced world of software development, where these AI tools are literally baked directly into our daily workflows, that is a highly disruptive block of time. Honestly, I'm sure a ton of developers are having to manually dust off their old Stack Overflow accounts this afternoon. Because look, this isn't just some tiny momentary server blip that refreshed and went away after 5 minutes. No way. It is a sustained, persistent issue that OpenAI's engineering teams have been wrestling with for essentially half the workday. It's a huge chunk of time when you're talking about tools that millions of people rely on for their minute-by-minute productivity.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because tracing this incident really gives us a clear look into OpenAI's active response here. So it all kicked off 4 hours ago. That's when those elevated error rates first started hitting users. But the really critical update happened 2 hours ago. OpenAI applied a mitigation. Essentially, they figured out a potential back-end fix and deployed it to try and stop the bleeding, so to speak. And that brings us right up to the present moment, which OpenAI is officially classifying as monitoring recovery. They basically applied the bandit, and now they're just sitting back and watching the system closely to see if those services finally stabilize and get back to normal operation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark discrepancy between the official tracking metrics and the very frustrated reality of users actually on the ground. On one hand, you've got DownDetector, which is a major outage tracking platform, and they registered these sharp, massive spikes that perfectly align with the start of the outage. But those have now actually started trending down. So the metrics suggest OpenAI's bandage is holding up pretty well. But if you check in with real users over on X, formerly known as Twitter, man, it is a totally different story. Despite that downward trend in the official reports, people are actively, continuously posting that the issue is still very much ongoing for them. It's wild, and it brilliantly illustrates that gap that sometimes exists, that disconnect between a system's technical recovery metrics on a dashboard and the actual real-time experience of an end user who's just desperately trying to get their work done. 9 to 5 Mac is obviously continuing to monitor this developing situation, and for sure, so are we. They're going to update their reporting once this partial outage is finally fully resolved, or, if OpenAI decides to share more juicy details about what actually caused these elevated error rates in the first place. But as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to turn this directly over to you. Have you been experiencing issues while using ChatGPT or Codex today? Seriously, are you one of the lucky ones whose workflow wasn't interrupted at all? Or are you currently stuck, just waiting for the service to actually recover? We want to know what reality looks like from your side of the screen. Drop into the comments and let us know your real-time experience today. Thanks so much for joining me to break down this breaking news, and we'll see you in the next explainer.